Hey, everybody. This is Kim Dahnke, the Shibboleth new member fast track instructor. I'm so thankful that you're here with me today on this Tuesday afternoon or evening. Not Tuesday, Monday. I don't even know what day it is. Oh my goodness. I live and teach the Shibboleth lifestyle because I want other people to know what I know now. I didn't know this information for 49 years. And now that I do know this information and how it has made such an impact on my life, I want everybody else to know about it too. But I actually did start a new job today. And I am overtraining for the new job. My husband messages me and says, I got tickets to the playoff game at the Braves. I said it out loud. I said, my husband just got tickets to the Braves game. And the lady that I was sitting there training with on my first day of the new job, she says, go enjoy the game. I got up and went to a Braves game on my first day of the new job. That's a good job. I like it. So I have had a fun day today. When you hop on here this evening, please say hello. And I would absolutely love to know how long you have been a Shibboleth member. How long have you been a member? And if you are not a member yet, I want you to know that first class is always free. And then we would absolutely love for you to get a membership if you like what you hear and what you see that we have to offer. Right now, a membership is only $65, and that is for a lifetime. You would never have to renew or anything like that. That is not our permanent price. That is just our price right now. Okay, so you can get that membership at myshibboleth.com. And if you are on Facebook, please take a second to share, especially if you are a member. Do us the huge favor of sharing. And if you're not a member, just enjoy. Let me know if you're not a member. I'd love to know my audience tonight. And if you're in the Zoom room, hello, please set your chat to everyone and then say hello. So look next to your name and make sure it says everyone. Oh, Karen, thank you. I appreciate that so very, very much. Thank you. And Kelly, hey, Kelly. Hey, Mandy. I started last Sunday down 7 pounds. Way to go, Mandy. That's awesome. And it was so nice to meet you on Saturday too. 2 days for Kelly. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, good. Mandy is catching up because she missed this one last night. Hey, Trish, I'm glad you're here. That is awesome. And Amanda, I have done this a long time ago when it was Thrive, and I just now signed up again. Well, Amanda, I just want to tell you, welcome back. And I want to thank you for knowing where you knew to come. You knew this is what really makes a difference because you've done a similar program. Now, I'm thankful that you told me Thrive because I'm going to say something. I'm going to say this, and this is really to everybody, but I'm going to say an extra little sentence for the members who may have been Thrive members before. I want everybody who is listening to me tonight to forget anything that you thought you knew about nutrition. Just forget it. I had done I'm an educator, so I had done a lot of studying about nutrition and different things. And one of the best things I heard when I first started Shibboleth was forget everything that you thought you knew. And I like that it says thought you knew, because I thought I knew a lot of information, but none of it was working together to bring me results. Hey, Teresa, I'm glad that you're here. We're going to teach you to sustain that lifestyle, okay? We're going to do it. We're going to do it together. But I knew a lot of information, but none of it helped me get the results that I needed and be able to keep the results. So even with former Thrive members, a lot has changed. So I even want you to forget everything that you knew then. Don't try to apply that to this. Just learn fresh and new. But I am so glad that you knew where to come, Amanda. Let's see. Hey, Jamie joined a couple of weeks ago, still trying to figure it out. Okay, I'm going to simplify things in just a second. Hey, Ray, glad you're here. Hey, Lana, or Lana. I don't know. Lana. Honaker, are you related to Brianne? Just joined yesterday trying to figure it all out. Awesome. And Karen, starting week 4, I've only done the blowtorch, so I need to figure out other options. Yes, you definitely do. Oh, good, Amanda. I'm glad you're excited. Hey, Kim Vaughn. Okay, joined a couple of days ago. Now, if y'all can't read these other people's comments, it's because Most everybody tonight in the Zoom room has their chat set to hosts and panelists. I'm the only one that can see that. So it looks like I'm talking to random people. But if y'all will set your chat to everyone, when you type, everybody will be able to see it, which is fine. Okay, so let me just simplify this for everybody right now. There's 5 things that we do every single day. Only one of them has to do with what you are eating. Number 1, you get in at least 64 ounces of water every day as a non-negotiable. You write down what you're eating every single day. Okay, those 2 things aren't hard. You just got to start doing them. You got to make yourself start doing them. And then the 3rd thing is food combinations. That is what you're eating. It's pretty important, but I don't want you to over stress about that, okay? Because it comes together as you continue to learn everything. Number 4 is you're going to portion control. You don't eat more than what fits underneath your 2 hands. You put your 2 hands together, you lower it down over your food, and you look. If you can't see your food, then you have portion controlled, okay? And you don't want it to be any thicker than the thickest part of your hand, okay? So, you know, when you lay that on your tummy right now, and you can go, yeah, that looks very reasonable for amount of food. Okay, we're just used to eating more, but we're gonna change those habits because you know they haven't worked for you, and we got to change those habits. So then the last thing that you want to do every single day is you want to have no more than 3 meals a day, and you would do best to give yourself 4 to 6 hours between meals. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Doesn't that sound very reasonable? It's a reasonable lifestyle, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then if you have a moment where you feel like you're going to give in, then you utilize things that we call freebies, an extra, or a snack. Technically, freebies are unlimited. You would need to make sure that you had an approved freebie from the food library, but we're going to be looking those up, and you have access to that right now if you've already taken the fast track quiz and passed that. You can have up to 1 extra in a day. And the way I describe an extra is it's just something a little extra. It's like picking up that Andes mint as you walk out of a restaurant, okay? But Andes is not approved. Let's see. Debbie says that she's down 18 pounds since August the 9th and made, congratulations for that. That's awesome. And she made unstuffed cabbage rolls tonight, and that was delicious. Wonderful. We were talking about unstuffed cabbage rolls tonight at class. So Patricia Hurt, one of our longtime members, makes her unstuffed cabbage rolls with shredded Brussels sprouts and says that she really likes it that way. And then you can have up to 1 snack in a day, an approved one, obviously. That's the beauty of having the food library. You know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But you wouldn't want to go more than 1 snack in a day. You wouldn't want to have more than 1 extra in a day, and you wouldn't want to have more than 3 meals in a day. And that's a perfect day. Water, journaling, eating the right food combinations, which, you know, we're going to be going over that tonight. We went over it a little bit last night. And then portion control and timing. Now, the first 4, those are what you have to do in order to say that you've had a perfect day. But the 5th one, the timing part, if you somehow don't make it 4 to 6 hours between meals, let's say that you eat 3 hours, that's fine. That won't throw you off of having a perfect day if you still have the other 4 things. Okay, Trish says, how many freebies in a day? Okay, Trish, freebies are technically unlimited. Freebies are technically unlimited, but this is what I want you to think about freebies. We don't add them to meals, okay, because you still don't want more than what fits underneath your hands. And let's say that broccoli is a freebie. If broccoli is just a steamed raw, not raw, but like a steamed, well, you could do it raw, but anyway, it's a steamed broccoli. It takes up space. It takes up a lot of space in your stomach. And we don't just add freebies to meals, but technically, Trish, freebies are unlimited. So if you needed to eat a jar of dill pickles, eat them. If you need to have like a whole 6-pack of sugar-free Jell-O, eat them. Okay, so, but the way I look at it is we're still trying to be reasonable, and we are still trying to not graze. So just use them as you need to in the beginning, and then maybe you could back off of them a little bit. But they're the best thing to start with. If you feel like you were going to give up a perfect day, just go to a freebie. You're welcome, Trish. You're welcome. And Lana, is it Lana or Lana? Tell me if it's a short A. Okay. What happens if it's longer than 6 hours between meetings? Totally fine. No big deal. Really, honestly, the longer, the better. So that doesn't matter. Okay. Awesome, Lana. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so you can go sit more than 6 hours. That's totally fine. Totally fine. 4 to 6 just gives you kind of a good, reasonable breakfast, lunch, and dinner type thing. And if you're not a breakfast eater, you do not have to eat breakfast. That's okay too. So I love our lifestyle. There's so much flexibility in it, and we give you the standards by which to live, and then you have your daily objectives. Your standard is at least 64 to 128 ounces of water every day, and then your daily objective is to get in at least 64. Your standard is to write it down every day. Everything that you eat, if you bite it, you write it. If you drink it, you ink it. If you hog it, you log it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. You write down everything that you eat. And then your standard is to eat according to the combinations. Lindsay, that was an old piece of info, and you do not have to do that. We need to edit that. If you feel so inclined to let me know which document that's on, that would be great, because I don't know where that is, but you do not have to eat within an hour or two of waking up. Nope, you do not have to. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay. And then portion control. Your standard is not to eat more than what fits underneath your 2 hands. And if you use a freebie, extra, or snack, with the extra and the snack, don't use more than what's allowed in the amount. Freebies are technically unlimited. Okay. So you have the standards now. Then you live according to the daily objective. And in a month's time, when you are in weight loss mode, you can have up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. Amen. You can do whatever you want to on a holiday. Now, a holiday is also simply not drinking all your water too. Or sometimes I was like, this Travis spaghetti is so good, and eat a second helping. That is a holiday as well, because I overate the approved portion. I mean, I overate the portion of approved foods. But the holidays keep you in a guideline. Okay. So we just want to live within those guidelines, and it'll get you the results that you want, and it will provide a balanced life when it comes to food. So we're going to do it. All right. But tonight we're going to talk about food combining. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to pop over to Fast Track real quick. I have it saved as a favorite. And I suggest saving everything as a favorite. This is just a habit I have. I save everything as favorites that I find that I go to often. Even on my home screen of my phone, I save everything that I go to frequently as a favorite. And then I pull those little shortcuts. It's like me having my own access to an app or something. If I want to go directly to Fast Track, I save Fast Track as a favorite. If I want to go directly to the recipe library, I save the recipe library as a favorite on my home screen. And then I just pull it all together in a little folder, and I call it Shibboleth. Okay, so I'm in Fast Track, and after I did my 1 hour talk last night, I briefly went over lap 1 and lap 2 just to show y'all what you need to be completing on there. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to use this link right here. See where it says Simple Food Combining website link? We're going to use that. If anyone missed last night's webinar, and you can go right here where it says watch the daily Fast Track webinars. There are 7. If you click there, you can click on Sunday night video and watch it. Let's see. Kim Vaughn, the eating within an hour of rising is in the phase 1 book. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for telling me that. Let's see. Okay, we'll try to get that PDF changed, because you don't have to do that. Yes, he used to think that you needed to do that. But see, that's the other thing is what's so wonderful about having this lifetime membership, if you've got a lifetime membership, if you don't, make sure you upgrade and get that. But what's so great about that is any new information that he finds or researches and the studies that he does, and he does everything on himself before he ever tells us anything. And he's been doing this for 20 years. We will get all of the updated information. Okay, but tonight we're going to use this link right here, Simple Food Combining website link. And the way I'm going to teach it is I'm going to I'm going to recap cooking oils and fats because we did those last night. I'm going to go over condiments one time tonight, but then I'm going to read to you every food that comes in the categories listed. If you have already started a little list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across the top, like for your categories of a piece of paper, maybe, I want you to write down anything that you hear that you think you might like to try or you like. Okay, because this is a nutritional adventure. Think of it as fun, a new nutritional adventure where you can try out some new things. And then I'm just going to read the new things we go to because the category 1 is going to be the same list throughout every combination here. Okay, so cooking oils and fats. You can use up to 1 tablespoon of one of these per serving. So if you're making yourself 1 piece of chicken and you want to use 100% MCT oil, you could use 1 tablespoon. But if you've got a family of 4, and you can use 4 tablespoons if you've got 4 pieces of chicken in there cooking. Okay, so it's just 1 tablespoon per serving of whatever you're cooking. So our highly most recommended thing is 100% MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride, and it has almost no propensity to be stored on your body as fat. This is a hallelujah moment. In 2.5 years, I have not bought any other oil except MCT oil, 100% MCT oil, because I'm the type person that once they find something out and it works, I stick with it. I don't try to change back. So let's think about what maybe we used before Shibboleth: canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil even. Those are all MCT is fine. It is fine with your heart. It actually helps a lot of people when they combine everything that the lifestyle does. I would think you'd be fine, Jamie. You can ask your doctor for sure, just to make sure. And then if your doctor or you don't feel comfortable using it, you could use a 0-calorie cooking spray if you wanted to. But LCTs, I would say LCTs probably hurt your heart worse. They're long chain triglycerides. They hang around a lot longer than MCT oil does. MCT oil burns up like that because it's a shorter fat lipid. LCTs are a longer fat lipid and they're more dense. So they take a longer time to burn down because they're longer and because they take a longer time to break down because of their density. So that's why MCT oil is the number 1, because it burns quickly and moves on out. And in the burning up process, it will burn a few extra calories too. You could also use coconut oil. Coconut oil is 66% MCTs, though it's not 100% MCTs. So when you buy MCT oil, look at the ingredients list and it needs to say medium chain triglycerides. Now, every once in a while, it will say medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil, but if on the front of a bottle it says MCTs, and then you flip it over and you look at the ingredient list and it says coconut oil, it's probably not 100% MCTs. Okay, so you want it to make sure that the ingredients list says 100% medium chain triglycerides. You can also use ghee butter. Now, ghee butter, spelled G-H-E-E and pronounced ghee, is butter. It's just been clarified, meaning all the milk solids have been pulled out of it. Okay, Trish, can you get MCT oil anywhere? You can buy it wherever you want to. Now, we do sell one in our store that we do happen to like the best. That's why we sell it. It's called Zero Drag. Zero Drag. You can buy that online, or if you're ever over here in Kennesaw, you could buy it in the store. But anything that you buy online, $30 or more, ships to your house for free. And the 3 things that I would get would be some MCT oil, ghee butter, and Carb quick, because those are the things that most people want to have as staples in their pantry for the recipes that they might like to buy. So if you go into the store online, myshibboleth.com/shop, or just click on store at the top of the website, it is called Recipe Starter Kit. But if you don't get the zero drag from us, the one that he recommends after the zero drag is actually called Now, that he likes the Now brand a lot. But wherever you find MCT oil, even if it's not those two that we just said, then you can get whatever you want to. If you want to order that Now one, you could go into the food library, click on the Now MCT oil, and click on the Buy It on Amazon button too. Okay, ghee butter is clarified butter. It's got all the milk solids pulled out of it, and so all that's left is the natural fat, and it's about 25% MCT. So this is what I choose. This is how I choose to use ghee butter in a recipe, or if I just need that butter flavor on something that I'm cooking. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more when you get to shellfish. A lot of people like it then. And then you could use 0-calorie cooking spray. That works totally fine. So when I'm making a decision about which one of these I'm going to use, if I am cooking a lean protein, whether that is from category 1 or category 7 shellfish, which is really just a lean protein, I'm going to use 100% MCT oil. That's what I'm going to do, unless for some reason I need or want that butter flavor. And then if I am cooking a protein plus fat, let's just say, let me use this as an example, whole eggs. That's protein plus fat, the yolk's the fat. I use 0-calorie cooking spray. But if I'm just cooking some egg whites, I'm going to put a little drizzle of MCT oil in there. Probably not going to put a full tablespoon though, because it'll drown those egg whites, unless you're cooking up a ton of egg whites. Okay, so these are the cooking oils and fats. Now, this is what I call a simple swap. This is one of the secrets too of Shibboleth, is just simply swapping the oils that you are using to cook in on a regular basis. The next thing that we're going to talk about is condiments. Now, the great thing about condiments is they make your food taste like you want it to taste. Let's look at this right here. Chicken breast. If you cooked up chicken breast every single night and didn't put a single seasoning on it, you might get a little tired of it. But if you take chicken breast and you make it barbecue chicken, or maybe you make Italian chicken, maybe you make some Mexican chicken, do some Spanish chicken, however you want to make the chicken. See, chicken is just a very good source of protein, but the condiments is what makes this chicken taste like we really want it to taste. So you got to figure out which condiments are going to help you have that enjoyment of the meal that you want. So you can use any 0-calorie condiment, 10-calorie, 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings, salt and pepper, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Now, this is a tiny, I am talking minuscule list of condiments, because we have a very large condiment library, but I even want to explain to you that not everything that can be used as a condiment is going to make its way into the food library. There are so many things that can be used as condiments that what we like to teach you is a general rule for condiments. Now, we don't have a lot of just throw out a lot of general rules on everything, but you need it for the condiments, because there's a lot of stuff that can be used as a condiment. Let's say that you are walking through the grocery store and you're thinking, I do want to have barbecue chicken. And there's a whole bunch of barbecue sauces sitting there. I mean, everybody likes to make different barbecue sauce, right? You got all kinds of barbecue sauces somebody's trying to sell. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the nutrition label, and you're going to look for 2 bits of information. And then when you use the condiment, you're not going to go over a certain amount per meal for a condiment. Okay, so we call this the 5, 2, and few. This is a sprinkling. 5, 2, and few. That's the rule. 5, 2, and few. So what the 5 is you do not want to use a condiment that has more than 5 grams of sugar and no more than 2 grams of fat on that per serving. So you pick up a barbecue sauce and you look at it. If it's got 5 grams of sugar or less and 2 grams of fat or less, then you can use that as a condiment. You also would not use more than 50 calories per combined meal. The reason I say combined meal is because you don't really need condiments on meal replacements, okay? Every once in a while, you'll see in the food library, oh, we'll add a little bit of fat-free Cool Whip to that. And, you know, okay, every once in a while, but you just don't add it. You don't add it to meal replacements normally. So let me just give you a practical example. Dawn says, love my condiments. Oh yeah. Well, condiments is what makes those things taste like we want them to taste. So condiments are important. But let me give you a practical example. One time I was in the grocery store and I always buy the Classico traditional pizza sauce. I normally buy it at Kroger. I was in Publix though, because I was picking up some Cabot extra light cheese that I like. It's a block cheese that's really good. It's a category 4. So I was in there picking up that cheese and I thought, oh, I'll just pick up my pizza sauce in Publix. So I beelined it right back down there to the pizza sauce area. And guess what they did not have? They did not have Classico traditional pizza sauce, but they had 6 other pizza sauces. I just turned around the pizza sauces. Now, I could have pulled out my phone and I could have manually typed in every single name of all those things, but why do that? I'm just going to practically apply mine by flipping it around and looking at the food library, okay? Now, I might do that on a single item, but not on a condiment. So I flipped them all around. And then I started scanning for the sugar content. I want it to have 5 grams of sugar or less. And if you're thinking, how am I going to remember which one is which? The word sugar has 5 letters in it. So 5 for sugar. Okay, so I looked. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar, I turned that one around. It was out of the running. I didn't even need to look at the fat content on that. It was out of the running on the sugar content. Well, then after I turned all those around, I went back and I started looking at the fat content. If it had more than 2 grams of fat, I turned it around, done with it. There were 2 left out of those 6, and I made a choice. I bought one. So that's the way that you practically apply that rule in the store. Okay, so what this row is saying is that you can have a lean protein by itself, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. But I do want you to know, if you're just eating lean protein by itself, it's really just going to fit underneath this one hand. You wouldn't be putting two things of lean protein. This is a lean protein serving. Okay. So let's look at some of these items. Category 1, lean protein. It says 2 to 8 ounces. I have never measured this. I just put it underneath my hand, and if it fits, I eat it. But sometimes you need to measure. My 80-year-old friend Patricia Hurt says, oh, I measure mine, because there's different things affecting what other people do because of their age and stuff like that. So she measures hers. Hold on one second. So we've got egg whites, fish, all fish is here, all fish, chicken breast. And if I'm saying anything that you like, please write it down on your list. It's very important that you've created your lists, or you do it this week. And then you continue that as a continuing process. You're going to have to eat forever, so you might as well have this be a continuing process. Turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, and Hebrew National 97% lean beef franks, and 96% lean ground meat. Now I'm going to talk about some of these real quick. This 96% lean ground meat, this is beef, chicken, turkey, any of that processed ground meat. As long as it's 96% lean or better, then you can use that. But it does include venison. 96% lean or better would be a 1. Venison by itself is a 1, but it depends on how it's processed, if you add fat to it or not. And then let's have a look right here. Low fat and fat-free cottage cheese. Fat-free cottage cheese, full fat cottage cheese is on the lifestyle. It's just over in category 4, but you got your low fat and your fat free here. Now, these say boar's head on these little deli meats. We've got a lot more deli meats that are approved than just boar's head. We just know that boar's head is very lean, and so it's just a good thing for people to get started with when they go to the store and just want to buy some things, okay? And if you see some visible fat on pork tenderloin, go ahead and trim that off, because we do use category 1s to keep us safe when we are eating category 3 energy carbs and category 5 fruit. And really on anything, like, sometimes you'll see some little bit of fat on chicken breast, but you can just trim that off too. But most pork products are in a category 4, protein plus fat, but the pork tenderloin is here, and also most Canadian bacon is also here. So you can have this by itself. Now, why is it important to know the things that you can eat by themselves? Because we teach you situational eating. Not every eating situation that you are in is going to be just optimal and absolutely perfect every single time. You just need to know what you can make a good decision on, stay in efficient fat burning, and keep moving. See, these days, Pinterest and other people and social media makes you think that you've got to have like gourmet meals every single night. And yes, they're fun, and you could do that if you want to, but sometimes people don't have time. You got to be able to do what you can do and still lose weight, okay? And then maybe make those gourmet meals when you have time. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit more. We've got another combination here. This combination is a category 1 eaten with a category 2. All right, now let's look at some examples of fibrous carbs. Now it says half a cup up to 1 cup. In weight loss mode, I would like for you to stick with half a cup, okay? Half a cup is best in weight loss mode. Broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles, and green beans. Now, most of these are also considered freebies. So if you needed to eat something in a moment of mental weakness, you're like, I'm going to give this day up if I don't eat something. Go eat one of these, okay? Totally fine. Go eat one of these. But what we don't do is add freebies to meals. So if you put chicken breast and green beans on your plate, you're not going to like shove more green beans underneath there and say, I'm going to call those freebies. No, just do the right thing. You got your lean protein under one hand, you got your fibrous carb under the other hand, and go from there. If after, I like to give myself 30 minutes. If after 30 minutes I am still hungry, then I'll go have some green beans. And then that's when I would call it a freebie. I wouldn't call it a category 2 at that point, because I'm not using it as a category 2. I would be using it as a freebie. Kim says, is that half cooked or raw? Cooked. Cooked. Great question. Okay, so you got your category 1, your category 2. You pick some, combining is this. You simply pick something from the lean protein category and something from this fibrous carb category. Now, I said this briefly last night. We'll see if anybody remembers it from previous lessons or if you heard it last night. Which one of these oils, if you cooked up your food in your category 1 and 2, would make it be the fastest fat burning combination? Which one of the oils would make it be the fastest fat burning combination? That's right, Mandy, MCT oil, because MCT oil burns like that. Boom, it's gone. It burns fast. And when things burn fast, there's a heating up process. So it's going to burn a few extra calories, and it's going to not stay and hang out on your body, which is awesome. And that's going to be great. So then you can take something from this category, something from this category, cook it up in the appropriate oil, and doctor it up with the right condiments. And you've got an excellent fat burning meal. Okay, we're going to scroll down another time. This is shellfish, category 7 shellfish, which is really just a lean protein. So this all fish is in category 1, but everything else that lives in water, whether or not it has a shell, goes here. Okay, so octopus doesn't have a shell. If you wanted to eat octopus, then it would go here, category 7. You can have 2 to 8 ounces, which matches the same ounces listed up there in the lean protein. Crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. Those are just some examples. The list is longer, but that's just some examples. Now you can take that, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and have an excellent fat burning meal. So you can eat shellfish by itself if you want to. This is where I see a lot of ghee butter being used, dipping crab legs or lobster tail or making some shrimp scampi or cooking some scallops, that type of thing. Yes, Crystal says, can you have more than one category 2 at a time to make your meal? Yes, you can. So Crystal, what that might look like is I just use chicken breast because it's simple, but you put your chicken breast here and maybe you put broccoli and cauliflower there. Or maybe you put chicken breast here and you put green beans and a small little side salad here. Okay. So yeah, you can do that. You can have multiple category 2s as long as they fit underneath this hand here. Okay. So we're going to scroll down. And you can see that all this row is saying is pick something from category 7 and eat it with something from category 2, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you have another excellent fat burning meal. All right, now we have come to another category. Category 4, protein plus fat. You can eat category 4, protein plus fat by itself, but what you are not doing is piling up a keto plate. Okay, we're not keto. You don't pile up a keto plate and eat it. Now, if you like keto type days every once in a while, we do have some advanced learning that you can take advantage of in the future. But the only way that those days make sense to you is if you understand the foundation of the lifestyle first, okay? And you can learn those from Travis later. All right, category 4, protein plus fat. Now, you'll notice that the ounces went down just a little bit, but here's why. In 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories, and in 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. And so it's more than double the amount of calories per gram in this. And so you just back off on the ounces just a little bit there, but I've never measured that either. I just put it underneath my hand, and if it fits, I do what? I eat it. Okay, whole eggs, steak. This is all cuts of steak. Pork ribs, beef ribs, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa, as long as no more than 50% of the calories are coming from fat. So, like, let's say that you wanted to buy some bologna or something like that. You got to look at the label, and if it has more than 50% calories from fat, that would not be approved. So when you're wanting to buy something like a turkey kielbasa, you just look at the label, and if it's more than 50% calories from fat, just don't buy that one. Just go find one that's 50% or less from fat. And this is that ground processed meat, chicken, beef, turkey. You want it to be 93 to 95.9 to be considered a category 4. Now, if it is less than 93% lean, it's not approved for a perfect day, because even though it might sound fairly lean, it's really just a whole bunch of fat that they added a little bit of meat to. And it's just packaging and marketing and all of that. So we've got to stick with this for our best results. So what this row is saying right here is that you can pick something from category 4 and eat it with something from category 2. And you would have a great fat burning meal. Now, if there's some condiments listed here too, but what is missing now? What is no longer there? What column have I said on all the other ones right before the condiments that you no longer see right here? It was right before the condiments. That's right, Kim, the oils. The oils are missing there. And it's because you already have fat right here. You don't need to add more fat to it. There's already fat there. So this is when I would choose to use 0-calorie cooking spray, okay, if I needed it to cook something up in. Let's see, Trish, I love zucchini. Is that considered squash, or is it somewhere else, another category? It's a category 2 fibrous carb, Trish. Yes, it's a category 2. Okay, category, you're welcome. Category 6, superfood. We've got pintos, black beans, red beans, soybeans, all your nut butters, nuts and seeds and such. So most of your darker colored beans are here in superfood. Now, a food qualifies to be in the superfood category when it has all 4 macronutrients in it. Now, most people these days do not consider water a macronutrient, but we do. It's actually the most important macronutrient, and it's 0 calorie. Okay. And then we've got protein, fat, and carbs. So all 4 macronutrients would be in a superfood. You can eat a superfood all by itself. You can do that. You could doctor it up with the right condiments too. If you are having pintos, black beans, red beans, or soybeans, anything like that by itself, you could go up to a cup and a half if you're eating it by itself. But if you're doing a superfood, let's say combined on a plate with maybe you've got chicken breast, you've got some black beans, and maybe you've got some green beans there, that you would need to back off of the amount of superfood. It wouldn't fit underneath your hand at a cup to a cup and a half. That's if you're eating it alone. All right. And right here, you're not going to see the oils listed either. But if you did a little bit of MCT with a full combination, you could do that. That would be okay. And if you look at that chart from last night that I went over, it's actually in lap 1. It's called the phase 1 combination chart. You're going to see some MCT oil listed with that. And that'd be the only one that I would do with that. But you can eat category 6 by itself. Now, what that means is if you just want to have 2 tablespoons of peanut butter as a meal, you're just in a hurry and you need something, then you can do that. That's totally fine. All right, let's scroll down and look category 6 with a category 2. So this means you'd pick something from here and eat it with something from here. Now, this is where Travis says you get your greens and beans. I don't eat much greens and beans, but if you do, there's what that is. Okay. And then you could doctor it up with the right condiments. But I really want to tell you, most people are excited that this is where you find peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay. Because if you have peanut butter, which is a category 6, and although we do not have the breads listed here on this teaching tool tonight, we are going to talk about some in a few minutes, and we'll talk a little bit more about more breads tomorrow. There are over, guess what? There's 177 approved category 2 breads in the food library. Okay, that's a lot of breads. And I don't mean just bread. It could be a bread type item, lavash bread, pita bread, tortillas, that kind of thing. There's a ton of them in the food library. So you just have to find one that you like. So I'm just going to say Sara Lee 45 calorie delightful. Okay, you can do that one. And then your jelly would be your condiment. You would need to do a no sugar or sugar-free jelly. I think there is a low sugar Smucker's, but what I buy is good jam, and it's sweetened with stevia. And this is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right here. While we're talking about sandwiches, I'm going to scroll back up. I want you to see where a grilled cheese is. This is where a grilled cheese is. Now, it's not listed right here, but category 1 fat-free cheese is a category 1. Or depending on how you use it, it could also be a condiment. And then you just pick a bread that works. And if you choose to use ghee butter, you can use ghee butter, but on a grilled cheese, I can't believe it's not butter spray. That's what I do with that. And I make myself a grilled cheese, and it's delicious. Okay. All right. Now we're getting allowed down here to where this is secret stuff right here. Category 3, energy carbs. We got to have our mind saying ding, 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 because you want to make sure that on any of your favorite category 3s that you've got that, that's category 3. I need to eat that with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So a 1/4 of a cup is really what you should stick with in weight loss mode. You can go up to 1/2 a cup if you want to once you get to maintenance, but a 1/4 cup would be weight loss. All of your potatoes are here, no matter what kind of potato it is, it's here. Oatmeal, steel cut oats, Quaker fiber and protein oatmeal, long grain brown rice, most of your lighter colored beans, except for the garbanzo bean, which is also the chickpea, and he breaks the rule and goes over in category 6, superfood. All peas are here except for the chickpea, which is also the garbanzo bean. And then tomato, onions, and carrots. And then you got whole wheat and whole grain pasta. Well, let me just tell you, we have better options on pasta, y'all, and we're going to talk more pasta tomorrow night. But if you want to write down 3 names, Explore Cuisine pasta, Fiber Gourmet pasta, and Carbonata. Those are the ones we're going to talk about tomorrow. Those are some of the better pastas for you to use, but whole wheat and whole grain pasta work. It's just that typically we can have a little bit more of those other pastas, and most people don't want to just have just a quarter cup, pasta, but it does work. Um, Carrots. So carrots are a category 3 energy carb, and because when they're cooked, they are more sugary. But if you want to have a palmful of those raw baby carrots, you actually could use that as a freebie if you needed to. Okay. But once those carrots are cooked, they are a category 3 energy carb. Now, everybody's always surprised that they have to be I don't want to say you have to be overly concerned about anything, but they are surprised that tomatoes and onions are here. Well, tomatoes and onions, they do bring an insulin release. And when you eat them, depending on how much you've eaten. So if you're having a quarter of a cup of tomato or a quarter of a cup of onion in that, you need to call, because right there, you need to call that a category 3, because that will then lead you to eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. But let's say that you are having a thin little slice of onion or a thin little slice of tomato, maybe on a 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty. You can call that part of your condiment, okay? And I didn't talk about this earlier, but you can have multiple condiments on a meal. So let's say that you're making yourself a 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty, and you want a piece of fat-free cheese. Well, I'd use the Borden's fat-free cheese. I think it is good. It's about 30 calories. Let's say you want some mustard. Most mustard is 0 calories. That wouldn't take up any of your 50 calories, right? And then you could have 20 more calories. Well, I looked up what a thin slice of onion was, like 4 calories. So you could use a thin slice of onion. You could even use a thin slice of tomato. And then if you want to ketchup in addition to that, you just have to come up with maybe 10 calories of ketchup. Okay, so it's just something that you'd have to be aware of, but you can use multiple condiments on a meal. But if you're having a quarter cup or more, well, it shouldn't really have more, of tomato or onion, then you've got to eat that with a category 1 and 2. Call it a 3 because that keeps you safe. Okay, so let's just tell you, I like to tell the story of some food. Let's say that you want to have some corn, okay? Corn, when you eat it, let's going to put the corn right here. It's about a quarter of a cup of corn, going to sit about right there underneath your hand, all right, right there. When you eat the corn, it is going to elevate your blood sugar, and your pancreas is going to secrete insulin. Now, it goes out to regulate that blood sugar. And you don't want to eat it with anything in fat because it'll collect it. So you're not going to see any of the oils listed here because you wouldn't want to do that. But you're now learning that you need to eat in a way that controls insulin. So let's say that you have some chicken breast and some green beans with your corn. Okay, that makes a perfectly combined meal. You portion it. And this is what happens when you eat it. The protein in this lean protein and the fiber in these green beans are going to neutralize the insulin release that came out because of the corn. You have just used food as medicine. It is very exciting news, very exciting. So the corn, let's talk about that a little bit more. That corn, it's not fatty. It's just the catalyst to fat storage if you eat it with fats. So there's where that comes from. Okay, so category 5, fruit. I'm going to only read the first 4. All fruit is in fruit, but berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit in that order are your best fruits in general because they are the lowest on the glycemic index. But let's say that you want to have some, let's say you want to have an orange, a small orange, and you're making yourself a lunch and you're going to work. Maybe you make yourself a turkey wrap, deli turkey. You could take a wrap. Maybe you get the Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, but y'all, there are tons and tons of approved wraps, tons of category 2. Make sure you get a category 2. And you could even put this answers some of the questions about can you have multiple category twos with a meal. Let's say that you want to put some lettuce in there, some romaine, some iceberg, some spinach. You could put lettuce in there. That's totally fine. I would probably even get a little Laughing Cow wedge of cheese, and I would spread that on my tortilla, lay down my green leafies, put in some turkey breast, and have it with my small orange. That would be a great little brown bag lunch. Okay. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to get these in. Now, in weight loss mode, fruit must be eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. When you are in maintenance, if you're eating fruit with a meal, you should still combine it properly, but you can also have fruit as a snack on a perfect day if you would like to. Now, you're not going to see any oils here listed either, because this will elevate your blood sugar. And when insulin comes out, if there is fat in your system at the same time as insulin, it will store it, and that we don't want to do that. Okay. So let's head right back up here real quick. This category 4 and 2. So you're never going to see a combination that would allow you to have energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods with a category 4, because there's the fat, and energy carbs, fruit, and superfoods elevate your blood sugar. Your pancreas secretes insulin. It comes out to do the job of regulating your blood sugar. But if you've eaten it with a steak, it's going to go, woo, let's go collect that. Let me go collect that. Now, there's nothing wrong with eating this. There's nothing wrong with eating this by itself. Nothing wrong with eating this with this. Nothing wrong with eating this with more lean protein. Maybe you want surf and turf. Have surf and turf and then a fibrous carb. That's fine. You can do all of that. You just don't eat fat with insulin producing carbs, which are energy carbs, fruit, and superfoods. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit more, and we've got a few more minutes just to wrap up and look at some other generalized things that people like to know about. Now, some of these conversations we're going to continue tomorrow night as we go over the food library on Tuesday night. So category 2 breads, there's a lot of them in the food library. Less is best. Less is always best with bread, okay? But what we do is we tell you absolutely everything that you can eat, and then you make decisions based on what you want to do. Now, live within the guidelines so that you get the results that you want, because we are results oriented, right? You should not have more than 100 calories of bread per meal. This is why one of the reasons tortillas are always going to be better for weight loss, because one tortilla usually works to make a wrap, and it's about 50 calories. But then you typically want 2 slices of bread to make a sandwich, and that bumps you up to almost 100 calories, depending on the bread that you're using. So it's always best to have less bread in a meal. I know that I've just kind of gone to an open face sandwich. I'll broil it often and use a fork and a knife to cut it and eat it. It's very good. But you can use the La Tortilla Factory 50-calorie tortilla, the Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread. It's called Lewis Healthy Life bread, Bran Crisp bread, which is not really a bread. It's more like a cracker. We've got pumpkin seed and sunflower seed. Those are 2 of my favorites. And then you've got the Lewis Healthy Life hot dog buns. So the Lewis has hot dog buns and hamburger buns that are category 2 that you can eat with a 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty. And it looks and tastes like a hamburger. Thomas Light, the 100-calorie English muffin. So you can use that too. Any approved sweetener, any 0-calorie sweetener is approved. So there's a small list right there. Beverages, nothing takes the place of getting your water in every single day. And I would even say on a holiday, if you will still keep that water intake, that you'll help yourself out a lot more even on a holiday. But nothing takes the place of your water. But you can also have 0-calorie beverages of any type. You can have unsweet or approved tea. There's other approved teas listed in the food library. And you can have coffee with up to 15 calories of approved sweeteners. And in the food library, there is a short link to all the creamers that are approved. And there's some other random things that you can do with coffee too. And if you don't see one of those approved things on there, just go into the silver level group of Facebook And at the top, there's a search bar, type creamer or type coffee in there. And you can read all the posts that have ever been made on those, and you will get lots and lots of other wonderful ideas. I am not a coffee drinker, so I don't have a lot of choices on that because I just don't drink coffee. But the one thing that I've heard that I would do is I would take a ready to drink protein shake and I would have it in my refrigerator and I would use it as a creamer. Then I would get a little bit of flavor, a little bit of texture, and some extra protein. You could also do 1 tablespoon of the Healthwise high protein hot chocolate in there too. And that sounds appealing to me. Okay. Now we're talking about cheese as a condiment right here, but all of these cheeses also fall into a category. So all of your fat-free cheeses are going to be a category 1 lean protein. They don't have any fat in them, but they do have lots of protein. And then this one right here, this Cabot extra light cheese, this is a protein plus fat. So you just want to keep in mind the way that the cheeses are so that you use them appropriately. But you could use any of these up to 50 calories. Now, Travis, who's our founder, he really likes this one right here, the Lifetime Fat-Free Cheese. And he just goes online and he orders it and it ships to his house. So if you're ever having a hard time finding fat-free cheese, then you could do that if you want it. Basically, I don't even use a lot of fat-free cheese, like shredded. I like the Borden fat-free singles. Sometimes I'll just tear those up and I'll put them on the top of my food, like if I needed some shredded cheese. Depends on what I'm doing, obviously. But then this lean protein milk right over here on the right-hand side, extremely important to know about. So this milk is no fat, but fortified with protein. It's also lactose free. So if you have a lactose intolerance, then you can use this because it's lactose free. So if you are using this as a part of a meal, like a proper combined meal, these are category 1s. And you could use up to 8 ounces. But if you're just drinking a big old glass of milk as you head out for the day, and that's just what you had time to do, you could do up to 16 ounces of that. If you have a Kroger near you, they got chocolate milk and vanilla milk, and it works. Okay, so that's really great. But fat-free Fairlife milk is found just about all over the country. Okay, Trish, curious, what do you do for caffeine if you don't drink coffee? I don't really need it, caffeine. But Trish, there are lots of things. Spark is a Advocare product that Travis really, really likes. And then I also like Celsius. I like the Celsius drinks. There's also another drink called Alani Nu. Yeah, so all those work. I like all of those. But I don't really need caffeine normally. I do drink hot tea. Yeah, I know you are. I do drink hot tea though. And I'll sometimes make a hot tea. But I think that the Celsius and the Sparks and all those would be kind of good, Trish. Now, these category 1 lean protein milks, it's important to know how to use those. Tomorrow night, we are going to touch on cereals a little bit more than I hit them tonight, okay? But cereals, even approved cereals, are sometimes starchy, okay? And starchiness will bring a little bit more of an insulin release. Well, think about this, y'all. Let's apply right now. If you have a starchy cereal that brings a little bit of insulin release, you don't want milk that's full of fat. Because if you had an insulin release, it's going to collect it and store it. And you want some protein in that milk to offset the starchiness of the cereal. So you use a lean protein milk, which is brilliant, okay? So these are important to know about. And then we got breadings and flours, coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's Red Mill, TVP. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein. It is a soy product. And then almond flour. All of these are category 2 fibrous carbs. Now, this Carb Quick is going to be one of your best friends if you like to cook. There are over 6 pages of recipes that include Carb Quick. Carb Quick is kind of like your flour. It's like a baking mix, a Bisquick type replacement. See, what we do on Shibboleth is we simply swap some things. This is your carb quick swap. And you'll notice that it's not spelled with a CK at the end. It's just a K. And this is a category 2. Guess what you can have as a little side item with a category 2? Biscuits. You can make, I like the cheddar garlic biscuits. You make those cheddar garlic biscuits. They count as a category 2 fibrous carb. These make wonderful pancakes and waffles and muffins. You can flour some okra. You can flour some chicken. You can flour fish, whatever you want to do. What does Carb Quick have in it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But it's got a lot more fiber in it, Amanda. This is where the real secret is coming from. It's got a lot more fiber. And we'll look it up in just a second, though. Fiber is 0 calorie. So when you have something that has a lot of fiber in it, it lowers the calories and gives you the fiber that you need. And the breads that we have in category 2, they have enough fiber in them to break down in your body more like a green bean does than a bread. So we'll look that up because we're almost wrapping this up tonight. And then cereals. There's 2 types of cereals in Shibboleth. We call them phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal. I don't really want you to get confused with me mentioning now some other like phases or anything like that. But phase 1 is always going to be the best of the best. Phase 2 foods just means that you've moved into more variety. It does not necessarily mean that you've moved into a higher quality of food, because Captain Crunch and Reese Puffs are in phase 2. Okay, so you didn't just hear those and go, oh yay, we moved to a higher quality. Now, if you're going to have a phase 2 cereal, you must have it with one of those lean protein milks. Okay, and then we also have what we call phase 2 frozen meals and phase 2 soups, and those are just things that's more variety. It's kind of like the middle aisles of the grocery store. There's a lot of phase 1 stuff, or just regular approved stuff in those middle aisles too, but we just call those others phase 2. But these are some of the best cereals that you could start with. Kashi Go Lean Original, K's Natural cereal, which we sell in our store. And if you like that, I've got the French vanilla is delicious. And they have an apple cinnamon, tastes like Apple Jacks. It's really good. And High Low Nutritious Living is also bought out just in regular grocery stores. I'm not going to go over restaurants tonight because we spend time on Friday night looking at restaurants. So as we wrap up tonight, I'm going to pop off of here, just show you again where you can find this. Now, if you need to know how to get to the fast track, you click on dashboard, and then if you've been a long time member, yours will pop up to the instructors page, and then you just click on fast track. But if you just got started, it should pull up to fast track right away. In lap 2, you just simply check this off, knowing that's, I know where that link is. Check. But that's where you're going to come back to. Before tomorrow night, if you can take this quiz, this would be awesome, because I want you to have full access to the food library, because that's what we're doing tomorrow night. I want you to have full access to the recipe library, because that's what we're doing on Wednesday night, and then full access to the restaurant guide, because that's what we're doing right here. And you're going to get excited about what all you can find and research in here, and you want to have all the options open to you. If you do not earn this badge, you're just going to have a smaller library, and let's get a big library. So just take your test, okay? And then tomorrow night, we're going to go over lap 3. And then if you haven't done lap 1 and lap 2 yet, just methodically work through these. See, confirming your email takes like 5 seconds, okay? Some of these are so easy. Finding your ideal weight, that takes like 10 seconds. So these are just small little check off things that help you lead yourself down the path where you want to go and figuring things out for yourself. But what we're going to do, if you want to hang out with me, I'm going to look up Carb Quick for Amanda. And but if you don't, I really appreciate you being here with me tonight. If you are not a member and you like what you heard, you can get a membership for $65 for a lifetime membership at myshibboleth.com. Okay, just click the join at the top, and that's right. Right, I mean, very, very easy. But if you want to hang out, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. thank you, Kelly. Good night. I'm going to go over into the food library real quick, and then I'm going to type in carb quick. You can see I type it in a lot because it automatically started popping up. You're welcome, Ray. Okay, there's carb quick. We're going to click it. So it's a -1 on the weight loss meter. We're going to talk more about weight loss meter stuff tomorrow night. It's in a category 2, fibrous carb. We also put it into another category that's not a numbered category, breading and flour, just so we have an organized way to talk about things. 1/3 of a cup is a category 2, but really I just use the recipes and go with what they say in the recipes. So let's come down here and see if it says anything. It's got 14 grams of dietary fiber, which is great. It's kosher and it's sugar-free. Okay, so it doesn't really tell us kind of what's in it, Amanda. So let me just go to here. Okay, it's made by this company. Okay, so I'm clicking on this little link. What is it? What is Carb Quick? It's a revolutionary baking mix. Kim, yeah, I'll show you that in just a second. It's a revolutionary baking mix for everyone counting carbs. We don't count. We don't count carbs. We just use them appropriately. Okay, it's made from wheat, so it tastes like flour. Try it and you'll see that it tastes as good or better than the leading brand. Y'all, I make all of my non-Shibboleth approved cookies with this now instead of flour. And I get compliments on it. People are like, man, these cookies are good. I'm like, thank you. I don't tell them I made it with Carb Quick. Okay, Carb Quick will work in almost any recipe calling for traditional baking mix. Can be used for all those other things. Oh, let me give you a tip though. You do not use the recipes that are on their box because they didn't take into account the other Shibboleth lifestyle guidelines on that. Okay. Okay, so it really doesn't say much on here. Let's click on nutrition info. So it's flour. It says enzyme enriched wheat, vital wheat gluten. Okay, so it's got gluten in it if you're gluten free. Oat fiber, high protein patent wheat flour, soy fiber, wheat starch, canola oil, salt, emulsifiers, enzymes, ascorbic acid, palm oil, buttermilk, baking powder, egg whites, salt, natural flavor. Contains wheat, soy, eggs, and milk. Okay, so it's got all of that in there. I hope that helps. Hope that helps you understand what it is. But it's made by Tova Industries. If you want to look up a little bit more about that, Amanda. And then what we're going to do. Okay, good, awesome. And then we're going to go over into Facebook real quick and look this up for Kim. Because in Facebook, in the announcements, I have what I ate for my first 20 days. And we're going to go here. Everything that comes up in my news feed is people's foods. Like I see it all day long. People's foods. I clicked on the wrong thing. That food right there was by Sherry Stoneman. I have to tell y'all this story. Sherry Stoneman is a over-the-road long haul truck driver, and she lives in her truck, and she has just lost 50 pounds on living the Shibboleth lifestyle. Anybody can do this lifestyle if you can do it living in a truck. Okay. All right. So here's the announcements. I like to just click on the announcements, and then I just scroll through. y'all, it'd be a very good idea to click on announcements and just read those. These are all posts typically saved by me because I felt like they were important. If you ever want to know if a food is approved or not, you can take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item. There I am. Look, that's 50 pounds heavier than this. But you can take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item, and you post it in the group that's called Shibboleth Fixed It. Because I don't monitor this group for that. Kim Shibboleth, our food guru, monitors the Shibboleth Fixed It group for that. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about completing a fast track worksheet, and we completed this fast track worksheet last year when on the morning Shibby show, I had people telling me things they like. So this is a really great worksheet to look at, Kim, right here. Let me see if you are in this group, V-A-U-G. Kim, V-A-U-G-H-M. Are you not in this group? Kim, is this you, Stephanie Kim Vaughn? Okay, I'm gonna tag you. That way you got that one. And then let's come down. This is it. This is it right here. Oh, come on, Facebook. Okay, so I tagged you in that one too. But what we'll do is we'll open it up and look at it real quick. So this is what that document is, y'all. Just go into the Facebook group called New Member Fast Track Group, click on announcements and scroll through. And then for breakfast, my very first breakfast was a Mighty Muffin. And then my first lunch was 96% lean ground beef seasoned with taco seasoning, shredded lettuce, and I had 2 strips of yellow and red bell pepper. I figured out that more than that would fit underneath my hand, but I only had 2 that day. And then my very first MCT cooked meal was chicken cooked in 1 tablespoon of MCT oil and cauliflower. And then y'all can just kind of read that right there. And if you want to capture this link, I'm putting it in the Facebook group. If you want to just click on there, and it should open that up for you. That way you can go look at it right away. But let me tell you the story about making that meal. So that night I was cooking a piece of chicken in the pan. You're welcome, Kim. I was cooking a piece of chicken in the pan, and I used my 1 tablespoon. I used some nature's seasoning and cooking that chicken up. Well, I took the chicken and I cooked, did it say cauliflower? I think it's a cauliflower. Anyway, I put that on my plate, and I'm starting to cut into that chicken, and I was thinking about that MCT oil over in the pan, and I thought, So I went over and got a little ramekin and a rubber spatula, and I turned my pan up, and I got every bit I could of that MCT oil, and I put it in that little ramekin. And as I was cutting my chicken, I would just lightly dip my chicken in that MCT oil and like a little au jus sauce, and it was delicious. So that's what I do with it now if I ever cook my chicken like that again. I hope that y'all have had a great time tonight. Y'all go ahead and work through laps 1 and laps 2. And I know this seems like homework, but you could not be learning something more important. And this is, once you've learned this information, you're welcome, Deb. Glad you were here with me. You're welcome, Mandy. You're welcome. I got several teachers on here with me tonight, y'all, and y'all can see that this is important enough to learn. Y'all know. Mandy's a teacher too, and so is Trish. Y'all can get to know each other. But you could not be learning anything more important. And once you learn it, it's not like you can unlearn it. Now, you could choose not to do it. You could choose not to apply it, but you definitely can't just unlearn it. Once you learn the ABCs, you haven't unlearned them. These are the 1, 2, 3s of nutrition, and you won't be able to unlearn them either. So y'all stick with me for the week, and we will teach you all kinds of stuff. All right, y'all have a great night. I'll hopefully see you in the morning for the Shibby show too. Bye, everybody.